what I'm going to do today is sort of share some of the best practice that we've seen sort of over the years helping government organisations of every size connect and engage with citizens. So we've been doing work in the US with the White House, with healthcare.gov, in the UK with the Government Digital Service, lots of major government agencies, and also the European Parliament. We've got lots of people engaged, so what I was going to do is just sort of share sort of where I think government is getting it right, where they're getting it wrong, and what we can do to be better. A quick question for you. Does anyone know which film that quote is from? Okay. Everyone says it's Field of Dreams, but it's actually a misquote from the film. It's one of the top 10 misquoted lines from a film ever. The actual line is, "If you build it, he will come." And that's kind of one of the problems with government. They go away and they build all of these fantastic websites and online transactions, and they do sort of campaign sites, and then no one goes there. I think it was Melanie sort of earlier on mentioned that the thing is no one's listening. They aren't interested in the stuff that we want to send out. So the fundamental problem that government needs to address is how they actually engage people in the first place. The communication's the easy part once you've got an engaged audience. Government's at a crossroads at the moment. Huge budget pressures sort of all over Europe, so having to do more with less, which I think has been a good thing. It's meant that people have had to be really creative with their comms. They can't continue to do the same old stuff that they've always done. I think people here have probably heard about SOS comms, which is sending out stuff. It doesn't work. You need to be more creative than that. At the same time, citizens' expectations are rising. They're expecting an experience like Amazon or Netflix or something like that. And also there's the technological change, people accessing government information on a variety of different devices now. And I think sort of as comms professionals, we need to keep up with that. The Government Digital Service in the UK said that by moving to digital by default, for the UK government, there's savings of between 1.7 and 1.8 billion pounds every year. But I would question, have they actually done that? A recent study, 2015, from Ofcom in the UK, said that a third of Britons haven't accessed online transactions. So then, on one hand, there's a big push to get everyone doing online transactions, but they haven't done that. More alarmingly, only a third of internet users in the UK have actually viewed any of the government campaigns. I mean, these are things that affect everyone's lives, everything from health, safe driving, and so on, and they just aren't being used. So there's definitely a problem there with engagement. Some examples of things, again, from the UK that haven't really worked. I think my favourite one here is the UK invested tens of thousands of pounds in a sperm bank, and at the end of the first year, they had 9 donors across the UK. Huge investment in the project, but it's obvious that the campaign hadn't worked. Other things that are going on in the UK, really big reforms of public pensions, affect everyone in the country. No one's aware of what's going on. So something's definitely not working. One of the other things that frustrates me, and I've seen it at EuroPCom in the past, it's changed over the last few years, is people thinking that social media is the solution to everyone's problems, that you could put a Facebook page up and you start using Twitter, and then all of a sudden you get a whole load of engagement. It doesn't work that way, especially with the changes to sort of the way Facebook does the positioning of your posts now. You actually have to pay to get them in front of people. So social media is part of the solution. It's really effective. It isn't the whole solution. So again, we need to be really creative. It's all well and good sort of having a really engaged person getting involved with your campaigns, but it doesn't really sort of move the needle on what you need to do. So the engagement formula to change this is, first of all, it's the power of the message, plus the engagement, so actually driving the outcomes. Think about what you need people to do, then think about the message and the channels that you're going to use to engage those people. The missing element is reach. Is if you can do that, but rather than engage one person, you engage 100,000 people, the outcomes are much, much better. So we really need to start thinking backwards with the campaigns that we're doing, and I know Eddie's going to come on and talk about this later, is look at what we're trying to achieve and work backwards from that point. Reach on its own isn't a good metric. Visitors to websites isn't a good metric. thinking about the outcomes and how you're going to measure those is. So as I mentioned earlier on, we're working right across Europe now and being quite effective. We've actually got 130 million people worldwide engaged with government programs. In the UK, it's actually 9.5 million people now, so the things that I'm going to share do actually work. The first one is thinking like a business. Government always sort of has this view that we aren't a business, we don't sell things, and therefore we do things in a different way. That's not true. Government sells behaviour change, trying to get people to do things differently, things that they aren't doing now. So you can use an approach from Amazon to actually achieve that. So Amazon focus quite heavily on reach. I think everyone in the room probably receives an email or something from Amazon, or certainly some of the big retailers, every single day. Email is an overlooked channel and it works really, really effectively. But they focus on reach, and then they start to cross-sell and promote things. So rather than thinking of your campaigns in silos, think about how you can link your campaigns, how you can link up with other agencies. Start to get that engagement. Contact information is absolutely key, whether it's an email address, an SMS number, information on Twitter or Facebook. But look to see how you can capture and start to share that information. The advantage that the public sector has is they can collaborate. So we've been really successful is getting agencies to work together. So the example here is if the weather's really bad and you go to get your severe weather information, why not also sign up and get information from your local council, from the road safety driving agency? Trying to link all of those things together is absolutely key. Okay, can you click it again? So the strategy is to focus on reach, build a really massive audience. The larger the audience that you have, the more you can do with that. Think about onboarding, how you keep those people engaged. You could have a campaign, but look to think how you can get them engaged in other things at the same time. Really importantly, targeting and personalisation. Sending out a message to everyone on your mailing list or on Facebook isn't a very effective way of getting people to take the right kind of action. You need to target the groups and segment to make sure that the right people do the right things. Constantly re-engage. Generally people will build up an audience from a campaign and at the end of it, it then gets mothballed. Think about what you can do to continually engage and re-engage people, and if you can do all of those things, that's when you convert people to action. So a quick example, London Borough of Havering focus heavily on reach. They've got about 120,000 residents signed up to receive information. It's all opt-in communication where residents have asked for it. Using that, it's about 47% of the entire population are now engaged with the council. They've increased renewals of bins. So one of the things that Havering do is they don't have any money. They looked at ways in which they could generate revenue. So for £30 a year, you can pay the council, and then when you cut your grass or cut your trees, they come and collect the waste. Using the reach that they build, they were able to promote that service. They've increased their revenue that they've generated by about £400,000 per annum. Not only that, people are renewing their licenses online. It's actually reduced customer service costs and increased satisfaction massively. So what I'll finish with this final statement is if you can really effectively engage informed citizens, you make life a lot easier for you. Far more importantly, you make life easier for the citizen, and you have the opportunity to reduce costs massively, to streamline uses of the service, to boost take-up, to generate revenue, increase satisfaction, and really importantly, improve your reputation.